Hello there. What's going on, everyone? Today we're going to be talking about some X-Wing stuff. Also got new face shields in. The new Gator necks have arrived. They're super cool, so we're going to take a look at them as well. But we're going to be talking about some potential spoilery stuff and a little bit of speculation for some stuff that may be coming for X-Wing, so that's awesome. Also, want to thank my sponsor, Luxury Playstyle, for sponsoring this video. They have these amazing tokens for X-Wing, and as stores are getting ready to open back up for gaming, this is a perfect time to order. Plus, Father's Day is just around the corner. Let your friends know if you have a father that plays. This is a perfect time to hook them up with an order or even a gift card. Or if you are somebody who does play and maybe you are a father, definitely let your friends and family know, hey, this would be an awesome Father's Day gift, and tell them to use code Crabbok VIP. You're going to save 15%, and you're going to love these tokens. They're perfect for X-Wing. They also have tokens for other games as well. I actually use these in a lot of my Legion games. So definitely use that code Crabbok VIP. All right, so we're going to be talking about basically this thing right here. So a little bit of potential spoilers. This was this big leak that came out of Europe of like a whole order of different potential future product that people can place. And hey, we already talked a little bit about, a lot of the stuff that's at the bottom here, the ETA 2 and the Nimbus. And we talked about that. We already know about Wave 7 being the Lat-I, the HMP gunship, and the Xi class shuttle. We've already talked about all of those, and they make a lot of sense. A lot of the stuff was kind of older. We already know about a lot of it with Saw's Renegades, but we've got two things that we haven't talked about yet, and I kind of expect that we may see something about them kind of soon, because maybe they were supposed to have been included with Wave 7, the Continental, the Xi, and the Lat-I. I would probably expect for these to show up sometime around the Gen Con release, and that is the TIE RB Heavy Expansion Pack and the Continental WT Expansion Pack. So we're going to talk about these. So first off, the TIE RB, otherwise known as the TIE Brute. This is the thing from Solo, a Star Wars story. You have probably seen this if you've seen Solo. It certainly stands to reason that this is coming. Especially going all the way back to that big Ask Me Anything that they did last year with Andrew Navarro before he left. A lot of people were saying, hey, are the original factions going to get any more new ships? Because, everything is coming out with X-Wing for, hey, the new factions. We've got like basically 4 new separate factions, being the Republic, the Separatists, and also the Resistance and First Order. And those factions are way behind. And so it's understandable that we're getting new ships for them. But hey, us Imperial players want new stuff too. Are we getting anything? And he goes, yeah, we are at least getting one new Imperial ship. You guys can probably guess which one that's going to be. And at the time, people had been kind of clamoring for the TIE Brute. It's got a whole lot of interesting possibilities. It could have like some kind of droid brain. It might have some type of integrated or networked calculations that some of the Separatist stuff has. The Empire does like to kind of borrow a little bit of this and that every once in a while for like individual ships, but I think the biggest thing here is that this would be a tie with presumably a cannon slot, which and also might introduce the possibility of a new cannon. And since it's canon, all right, dad joke, then they can do that. But yeah, you can clearly see like a big old heavy laser cannon on it in the movie. And of course, once it's canon and it fits the time frame, it's right in the middle of the Galactic Civil War. It's perfect. So it makes a lot of sense to have the TIE Brute in X-Wing, and that's what the TIE/RB would presumably be. I tend to believe a lot of these leaks because, hey, they have proven to be pretty accurate in the past, and it's not like I'm the only one talking about this. These leaks have been all over the internet for months now, and so I've kind of spaced out how I've been talking about them. But the bigger question, and of course the TIE Brute sounds awesome. I actually can't wait to see how it is. I actually want to hear from you guys too. What do you guys think of the TIE Brute coming into X-Wing? Do you think, we already have a lot of Imperial ships, right? The Empire has 14 ships in game right now, compared to, like some of the factions have like 5. There's First Order is actually really hurting right now. So that's certainly something to consider. But if we go back, we've got the Continental WT, and you're like, well, what in the world could that be? And that's really the strange thing here, because there's really not a whole lot of results if you start searching for Continental in Star Wars. Now, the WT could be an indication, right? Like there's certain things, like there was a WTRT, like a wet transport that was in like a Lego game, but I think that was like a walker, so it wouldn't make sense for that to be in this. There's also, hey, Wat Tambor, right? Wat Tambor starts with WT. Could that be some type of droid ship? But then again, most likely not, because you're getting the HMP droid gunship like with Wave 7. So like, why do an Imperial and a Separatist? Like, if they were going to do a Separatist ship, they should probably also have a Republic ship too, because those factions are still in their infancy. So like, is it really a Wat Tambor kind of ship? Maybe not. Like that's the weird thing. So a lot of people have been speculating. I had said at one point, I think when this whole leak first happened, we talked about it, that there's a chance that could mean working title. Now, Continental working title. Now, why is that? Is there a chance that it? Well, here's why. Here's why. If you look, it's in parentheses. All right. Now, if the WT was some type of nomenclature, you might be something more like the lat/I, right? Continental/WT, or a dash, or tri-dash fighter, or the ETA-2. You don't usually see ship names in parentheses or nomenclature in parentheses. You just usually don't see that. So that's why I think Continental WT is a placeholder. Now, there's a couple of things I want to say about this. First off, brilliant move. Brilliant move by Fantasy Flight. I 100% approve of them releasing some of this pre-order lists to suppliers and stuff with code names for things. I think that's something they should consider doing a lot more. Even though I'm in the business of kind of like bringing you guys like leaks or breaking news or anything kind of hype and exciting, I also have to admit, as a fan, I prefer to have Fantasy Flight games actually break the news when they're ready and in a proper format. Like, I like to see an article show up. I don't like, having somebody leak it from a warehouse somewhere in Europe, because that's where they tend to come from. I'm not a big fan of that being the way, because that is not... Wait, hold on. That is not the way, right? But no, I'm not a big fan of that. Primarily because we don't know if it's true, we don't know if it's accurate, and we get hardly any information out of that. We're not getting information out of something like this. We're just being like, we get to look at pictures and be like, I wonder, will it be a medium base? Will it be a large? Like with the TIE Brute. Like, so much we don't know. I mean, we can pull stuff from Wikipedia, but the problem then is also, you're sometimes going to speculate on like, oh, well, maybe it's going to be this, maybe it's going to be amazing, and your imagination might go past where the design space took them, and now you might be expecting this like double cannon slot, awesome super powered TIE fighter, and it might come out just as like a mid-range ship, and now all of a sudden people are disappointed. So I'd rather just them kind of present it to us when they're ready, as they see fit. Of course, I like the pace of things coming quickly. I think we're definitely overdue for some new articles. But so here's some of the speculation I have on what the Continental, if that is a working title and if that's a code word, might be. Now, first off, it's pretty standard to use code words for things when you have a license agreement with somebody and you're working on something that's like upcoming, right? For example, let's just say we'll go back to episode 7, Rey with the lightsaber and stuff like that. Like, the toys didn't have Rey with the lightsaber because there was a lot of stuff like they had to keep under wraps because it would have been a big spoiler. So, based on that, I feel, and the fact that nothing else is got a code name, I would guess that the Continental is codename for something that's moderately recent. All right, so let's talk about some things that are probably moderately recent. The Razor Crest from The Mandalorian. Now, you're probably thinking, that's not exactly recent. Well, it is, in the bigger picture, it is. Don't forget, by the time something hits your shelf, it's been in the works for a very long time, over a year. All right, they probably started working on this around the time that maybe even before the public first saw it, probably around the same time that the public first saw it. But at least as far as preliminary things like specs and stuff like that, I would guess that Fantasy Flights probably started working on this before the name Razor Crest was publicly known. And that's definitely a possibility. The development cycle for things like this is a very long time. Now, I know some FFG devs have said, we kind of get the stuff when you get the stuff, and that's probably true for most things. But I think at least in some cases they've got to have a heads up, especially if they want stuff to be able to come out. Look at the going back, a little history lesson in X-Wing. If you go back to when the Force Awakens core set came out, right? They had to get the stuff, the specs and everything for the T-70 X-Wings, before everybody else saw them, because that came out like almost with the film. So, granted, there's a lot of stuff they didn't get. They didn't get everybody's names and everything like that. So, but I think there's a pretty good chance it could be the Razor Crest. But here's why I'm like, well, maybe not. Maybe not. Okay. Scum has the most ships already. Scum has 19 right now. 19 ships available. Now, not all of them are great ships, and that is including that escape craft that comes with Lando's Falcon. But Scum is over the top. Scum is does Scum need another ship, right? And because we're only seeing 2 more ships, and presumably an Empire and Scum. This would leave out the Rebels. So I'm not sure if it's actually the Razor Crest just yet. I'm just not sure. And that's just for balance's sake. Of course, with hyperspace being a format, it could be anything. But I'm not sure that it's going to be the Razor Crest. I think there's a pretty decent chance it might be the Mantis from Fallen Order. Here's why I think that. First off, now, I recognize the Mantis is big. Mantis is very big. Some might say it could be a little too big to fit an X-Wing, although I don't subscribe to that, because your Star Fortress, I think, is probably about the same size, just in different, or the same mass, maybe even more mass. But this thing is awkwardly shaped too, because that big fin, that dorsal fin it's got up there, swivels around and it can go all kinds of different ways and stuff like that. Now, it could be a really cool moving part ship, no doubt, but it might be a little awkward as far as like storage. I think storage of a ship like this might be a little awkward. But yeah, I think there's a pretty good chance that it could be the Mantis. Now, first off, we know FFG has no problem putting stuff from the EA video games into their games because, hey, it's canon, it's all good. We've got stuff from Battlefront 2 already, Iden Versio and all of that stuff is in the game. So no problem there. Makes sense that we're going to see Cal Kestis and the crew of the Mantis. They've got certainly enough people to kind of fit the format of having like 3 named crew and 1 generic or something like that, or 3 named pilots and 1 generic. Totally works. If you've played Fallen Order, that's not really a spoiler. It's just like there are certain characters, that happen to travel on this ship in that game. So there's definitely lots of things that this could introduce. So that's cool. But now this is a little bit newer also. But here's the thing that's really, really spicy about this one is that what makes me think it might be this is that the Rebels have less than Scum. The Rebels at this point would also be the only ship not to have a new ship so far in X-Wing 2nd Edition. So, because don't forget, Scum was tied with the Rebels, but then when Lando's Falcon came out at launch day, basically, the Scum got the first new ship. So I know there's a lot of Scum players, and I know Scum is very popular, especially with The Mandalorian. Scum is going to be very, very popular. But Rebels probably need some love, too. And they haven't had an all-new ship. They've certainly had plenty of love as far as expansions, like especially the new B-Wing, by far my favorite. But if the Empire is getting the TIE Brute, now Empire is farthest behind with only 14 right now. So if the TIE Brute is coming, I think it makes sense for balance-wise to also give the Rebels a new ship. I think the Empire could probably stand to get a couple more eventually, but not everything has to be balanced perfectly. But I do think you want to give at least every faction. By the time this comes out, I think every faction ought to have at least 1 new ship in 2nd Edition, because otherwise the Rebel players who are like purely Rebel are going to be like, boy, it's been real boring having absolutely nothing, And I know we are getting Aces packs, and there's more pilots, and there's more things coming. Like the Rebels have had new pilots, in Hot Shots and Aces, but but no new ships. And, throw them a bone. Let the Rebels have a new ship. So those are my two biggest predictions. But I want to hear from you guys. What did I miss? What do you think that Continental WT could mean? Sounds pretty interesting. But yeah, but anyway, that's about all I've got. But if you haven't already, check out the merch store. We got the Gator necks. These are awesome. I mean, we're presumably going to be wearing masks for a long time still, and these are fantastic. But they are also good for if you're not needing to wear a mask. You can do a lot of things with them. They are good if you're wearing hats and you want to kind of protect your hair or something like that. Or if you wear stormtrooper helmets or something like that, you can pull that up over. You can also, now they're going to mess your hair up a little bit if you take them on and pull them off a lot. But they're great for cold weather. So it's an investment that's going to last you all around. But the other cool thing about it, what doesn't show on the image, if you look in there, this one is called Sandalorian. What doesn't show is that it kind of looks like it cuts off right here, but I designed them to have a little bit more, like it goes up inside because this is double layered, and they will eventually, like, they shift a little bit over time, like the longer you wear it. And so in case I wanted it to be able to have more of that visor going all the way across, so the pattern doesn't just stop right there. The pattern actually goes up more, so the more it's depending on how high or low you want to wear it, so it's a little bit flexible, but really, really cool stuff. And it's just regular Boba Fett colors on the back, but I love it. We've also got the Ahsoka one that just came in also, or the Apprentice with kind of like the fulcrum logo and then the Leku symbols over here. These are super cool as well, so check these out. Especially if you're going to be going to conventions, you want some cool stuff to be able to wear, want some cool swag, you got your Ahsoka or your fulcrum. I'm not lining it up right. There you go. And if you listen to my Legion podcast, we've also got double critical Gator necks on there. There's a Darth Vader one too, and there's plenty. So it's cool stuff. Anyway, shameless plug for the store, but that's going to be in the Teespring. There's links down there. There's also a link to the Teespring store in the description, in the comment section, or not in the comment section, in the description box. But that does help actually support the channel. So shameless plugs are over. I want to thank you all so much for watching. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section. I will talk to you guys later. Thank you so much, and as always, have a great day.